Genesis after Jacob gets the blessing is just essentially a frame narrative for the rest of the Bible. And that's weird to say if you think of the Bible simply as just holy book and holy scripture and everything having lessons. But it's a frame narrative. Jacob basically he meets Esau, he goes and he deals with stuff, he explains how he has the kids, why the kids are here, where the kids are from, all of that. Right now I have Genesis 49. Jacob called for his sons, gather round so I can tell you what will happen. And then he blesses them and he tells everybody what everybody's going to do. And then all the tribes come from the sons, and then Jacob dies. And then Joseph is all of that. Pharaoh says, go bury your father. This is in Genesis 50. And then Joseph reassures his brothers, and then Joseph dies. And then he was placed in a coffin in Egypt, and then the Israelites are oppressed, and we get Exodus. We need all of those things from Jacob. So the first three patriarchs are Adam, Noah, and um, Abraham. Then we have Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. It's supposed to be five, but I consider it six, even though Isaac's not really there. Um, and this basically sets up the narrative of why the world's the way it is, and then now it's going to tell why the story of the Israelites is the way it is. And it explains it and explains what's going to happen. And earlier in the Bible, God had said to Abraham, your descendants will be slaves for 400 years. So they go to Egypt, and that's where they become enslaved, and it's part of the frame narrative and everything. And it's something that's very important to the story of the Bible because the story of the Bible involves the story of Exodus. All the Torah with the law explains why the Torah is the first five books, explains how things are the way they are, why things are the way they are, and you have to have that frame narrative at the end of Genesis in order for anything else coming later in the Bible to make sense. Because if you don't have the people understanding how they got there, you're not going to be able to tell a good story. So we finished Genesis and we'll move on to Exodus in a little bit. But overall, I think Genesis is a very good foundational myth. It is decent religious text for a nation to explain how it got there. The only thing that can really be in there that explains how it can go and be not just a myth for the Israelites is in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, basically saying that God is the creator of everything. Now, we see throughout the Bible there are other gods. We see God saying, let us make man in our image. We see all sorts of different potential looks to other gods in the Bible, even in Genesis. And because of that, we have to think about that. But God being all knowing, all powerful, all that isn't really here, other than the part where it says he created the heavens and the earth, which implies all powerful, because you kind of have to be all powerful as a deity to create things. Although, well, not to create things, but to create many things. Like, for example, Chaos, who the primordial deities and everything, all that in Greek, was a little different. But here it's one entity creating everything. So that implies that he's all powerful. And I definitely find that interesting. And I really like the frame narrative of Genesis for both the Torah and the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Bible. And and I believe it may actually I don't know. There have been people who've told me that Muslims use the Bible, and then there's people who told me that they don't. I don't know. I'm going to look into that. But it explains why this God, Genesis explains why this particular God became the most powerful and most impressive God who has over 5 billion worshippers, or 4 billion worshippers on a planet of 8 billion, so about 50%. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and you can follow me on Patreon for $1 a month. And Mariners recap videos will be published 12 to 14 hours before they'll be published on YouTube on there. You'll also have some access to things that I write, well, some blog posts. I might use it as a website, and you can book me on Cameo. You can follow me on Instagram, and well as Blue Sky at Sammy5436. Thank you for watching.